What's up, everybody? I'm Nick Murphy. I'm one half of the Brothers Murph, and this is going to be a tchotchke tour. As you can see, we have a brand new studio space. It's just another part in our apartment. And we did a kind of studio tour, and I asked if anyone wanted us to tour all the stuff that's on our shelves that's not games, just like tchotchkes and little things and little figurines and stuff. And people asked for it. So that's what this video is going to be. So let's go ahead and start on that side, and we'll go through it all. We're gonna do it.
3, 2, 1, bro.
So the first thing we'll go over is some of the art that's up on the wall over here. The first thing over here was made for us by a woman named Janine, and she made us these awesome "This Game is Broken" dye, like watercolor paintings. They're so cool. She made one for Mike and I, and so we put them in a little frame here, and they're just so cool. The whole thing is watercolor, and it was the first time someone ever like painted us something. It was the coolest, one of the coolest moments ever, just because like we were so surprised. But Janine made us those, and thank you so much, Janine, if you're watching. Those are so cool, and it absolutely made our day. Over here we have Wonder Woman over here. This is a drawing that I did with markers and then ballpoint pens. So that is a original drawing of Wonder Woman, you know, Gal Gadot and such. That is one of my pieces. And then if we start swinging this way, here's another one of my art. Not Roger. Roger is a piece of art, but not him. We're talking specifically about these Star Wars ladies up here. So this is, we call this piece Revolt, Rebel, Resist, because those are the words that are spelled out. And we have 3 badass female Star Wars characters inside those words. This has been a very popular piece. I really like it a lot. It's pretty darn cool. And then over here, so over here we have a painting that one of our followers named Missy made for us, which is one of the coolest things. This is a dinosaur tea party, a painting of Mike and I, the party crashers, inside a dinosaur tea party game. So you can see us sitting there, we're eating cookies and stuff, and I'm on the left there, Mike's on the right. We're drinking tea, we're eating cookies and stuff. We even had traits that are in the game, so you technically could play with this if we ever got it to be made into a promo, which we hope we will get to someday, because that would be awesome. So that is a dinosaur tea party painting that Missy gave us, and we framed it up. It's super cool. And then this is my favorite thing. One of my clients made this. It is called Determined Turtle by Miles, and it's just turtles. She says, "I can do this." I love this. I used to work in an art studio at a drug rehab facility, so I got very close to a lot of my clients. Okay, let's not do that. I got very close to a lot of my clients, and this client was a special one, and I mean that in the best possible way. He was wonderful, and he made this. It was probably my favorite thing to ever be made in that art studio. It was amazing. Alrighty, now we actually have the shelf itself. The shelf is a whole bunch of weird stuff. We have this guy right here who's like this weasel who's smoking a cigar. He's got like a real little bandana on. I don't entirely know why, but I love it. And then underneath him here, we have Mike's Gen Con badge, just because it's got a whole bunch of stuff. We got Mike, we got Dab on it, and then we got Alette Hart, and we got Team Bing Bong, and then Ally, because we are an ally of the LGBT community, and just all this cool stuff on that badge. That is the weasel. We haven't named him. What should we name this? In the comments, what should we name our little weasel friend? This is a little dinosaur whose name is Gregory the Dinosaur by Carlton. This was a little dinosaur that, again, one of my clients drew for me. It was already a drawing, but he colored it in and then gave it to me when he was leaving our treatment center. And it's a fun little dinosaur. This right here is a picture of Mike in high school. This is Mike in high school, and he is with our friend who, honestly, I don't know his name. We always called him Thick because he just, you know, that's what he went by. It was like a nickname. We always called him the Thickness. So I honestly don't know what Thick's name is. They were older than me, so there was more Mike's friends than mine. But that's a picture of Mike with Thick in high school, because why not? We have Father Ted, the complete series 1. We have a lot of random British stuff that Dan Hughes of the Noble Order of Huddersfield Board Gamer. He sends us British stuff a lot, even though we constantly ask him not to. He also sent us the League of Gentlemen. And these are all in the shrink because we can't watch them because you can't put foreign DVDs into American DVD players. It actually doesn't work, and that's not even like an America joke. It's just they literally don't work. And then back here we got Mechs vs. Minions because it doesn't fit on any of the shelves. And then these things right here, these are little card holder trays from the BGG store that we use during games. We have a ton of them, so we put some up here on the shelf. And then moving on over to this part, this whole little area right here. So this right here is a family portrait of Michael and I. So this is a photo of Mike and I, a family portrait. You see Mike is pushing me on a sled and he's throwing a football like a good American family does. This picture is there mostly because our mom every like 4 or 5 years likes to take family portraits, and she knows that if she does want us to take those with her, that we are going to require her to let us take a really dumb photo, and she's required to buy it. This has always been our bargaining chip with this. We always take really weird pictures. We're like, yeah, we'll take your family photos, but we're gonna take a weird photo and you're gonna purchase it. And so now she just kind of knows. And so this is the one we took last time. This is a couple years ago. I love that picture. These are bit trays. We have smaller ones here and the bigger ones back there. These again are also from Board Game Geek, which I don't know if you can see that in there. Yeah, BGG, Board Game Geek Bowl is what they're called. The little bit trays, little bit bowls you can use in your games. We got these at Gen Con. We got a whole bunch of them so we can use them, and man, are they freaking useful. We use them quite a bit. Back here we have my little character in Dave Luza's Pandemic Legacy streams that he was doing. That was my little character, which he gave to us. Mike's is over there. We'll see in a second. He gave us those, so we put them up on here. This right here is a cribbage board that our grandfather made. Our grandparents really loved cribbage, and our grandfather was a fine woodworker, and he really liked making cribbage boards. We have a couple different cribbage boards. I'll actually show all 3 of them. We have 3 of about 1 billion we have here at our place, and so we have a whole bunch of them. Behind here is War of the Ring. That one can actually fit on the shelf, but we love Lord of the Rings, so we wanted to highlight it. It's also a great game. This right here is this heart pump thing. You know, you pump light, pump. Oh my God, it fell apart. It's kind of janky at this point. It's gotten messed up. But nonetheless, this heart thing is from the Dr. Eureka. I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like those kids things where you can make like oozy, oogly, blah, blah, and then you drink it. And it's really just like a sugar drink. It's one of those we found at a thrift store that was like 6 years old, and we drank it on our thrift store throwback segment on the Dice Tower. And this was like the contraption to drink it, was this heart thing. So the stuff was in here and it got pumped up into the heart, and the heart would pour into a cup. It was really dumb, but we did it, and it was real unfortunate. Next to Mike's Gen Con badge, we also have this little piece of artwork that's hanging down there. I think our grandparents got this in like Morocco. I'm not entirely sure where it came from, but it was our grandparents originally. We know that. And we just hung it on there because why not? We can still get our games and stuff behind it, and it's very easy to get off. But yeah, we got a little piece of art mid-shelf. Okay, now we're on the main 4x4 shelf over here. Starting over here, we have our spare time bowling. This actually has little bowling pin die in it. This one is actually pretty darn special to us because this, I believe, was our 3rd thrift store throwback that we ever did on the Dice Tower. And this is the one where we kind of started getting weird with it. We started kind of letting our personality shows and letting like the world see that like, yeah, we're like these kind of silly, weird dudes who like doing these kind of weird comedy sketches. It wasn't a big full sketch like we do now, but this was, again, like kind of the first time we kind of became ourselves and let the world kind of see what we're all about. And it went over very well. And so we keep this kind of as a reminder, and also it's a weird little bowling pin. We just got some big die here. We got a big old D12. We got these giant D6s. We have this shopping cart right here. I was doing mosaics in my old work, and again, I used to work in an art studio, and I contacted this tile company and was like, hey, like, can we have any tiles that you don't need, any tiles that are broken? Because we were just going to break them anyway and make mosaics out of it. And I finally found a company that was willing to let me have all their old tiles. And one time there, when I was picking up tiles, one of the guys was like, hey man, you want this little shopping cart? And I was like, yep, sure do. So he gave me this little shopping cart. I don't know why or where it came from, but now we have this little shopping cart. It's great. We got Darth Vader up here, and he's doing his little chokey hand thing where he's supposed to be choking people, but I like to put him like this because then it just looks like he's a DJ, like waiting for the beat to drop, you know, just like dun, 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 dun. And next in here we have this little just kind of crocheted heart. Again, I don't quite remember where we got it, but this little knitted heart. We have Happy Streamin', which is a version of Happy Salmon based on our Twitch streams that one of our followers named G Money gave to us. And so that's in here, so we can grab it whenever we want to play it. This right here is an old palette, again, from my old work. One of my clients used this to paint a very large oil painting. But you can see it's just all sorts of 3D because it's just got paint and stuff all over it. And I thought it ended up being such a cool like art piece by the end of it because it was, again, just so 3D with all the paint all over that's now dry. And when she left, she said I could have it because I would always talk about how cool it looked. And so we kept it, and now it's in there because, again, I think it's a really cool art piece. And I think I want to at some point encase it in epoxy because I think it'd be a really cool epoxy art project. Here we have Mr. Whiskers from Clank. This comes from the new Clank expansion right here. Is little Mr. Whiskers, and you know, I don't really know what he's supposed to be used for in the game, so we just put him up here. We have the two Networks expansions boxes. Both of these are just empty, but I really like the boxes from the Networks. I think they look super cool. I think they look super awesome. It's a very unique kind of box cover, and so I've always liked it. And you'll see throughout, we have some empty boxes. If a game has a really nice box cover, and it's an expansion, which means we throw away the box, we usually keep it because we think it's pretty cool. All right, so next here is we have a little epoxy block. I really like working with epoxy. I think it's a super cool kind of crafty medium, and this is the first one I ever did. It's actually a soap mold, which is why it's that weird square thing. And I put Oh We Fancy in it, and then it's encased in this clear epoxy, which is super cool and super fun to work with. And you'll see we'll have a lot of epoxy stuff around, and we plan on making more. This is a little Katutu drawing that we got at our local convention, Strategicon. When you bought something at this one kind of little pop-up shop, you got one of those, and so we got something, and we got this little Katutu there. This is a little winter castle promo that we got for King Domino right there, and so you could use that instead. Sometimes we use it. We have a Board Game Blitz die. Let's see if I can get focused on that. We got a little Board Game Blitz die right here, which is super cool because Board Game Blitz rules, and they gave us one of their die, so we got one of their fancy die. Oh yeah. And then right here we have another epoxy piece. This is an epoxy kind of semi-circle thingy I have right here. I put a little toy fish inside of it, so it looks like he's swimming around. Like, woo, fun stuff. We have a couple kazoos that we got. Still works great. It has our little Brothers Murph stickers from our Moonshot event, which is not in focus. From our Moonshot event in Indianapolis at Gen Con, we got little stickers. So we got little kazoos with stickers on them. We have our flat hands from Flat Hand Syndrome. We kept those weird, creepy hands because why not? Up here, this is my my badge for the Boy Scout camp that Mike and I volunteer at every summer. I'm the climbing instructor. I'm not sure where Mike's is. Mike's probably attached to his uniform. Mine's supposed to be attached to my uniform. And then we have Roger here wearing one of our Brothers Murph shirts. And speaking of Roger, this is Roger. Roger doesn't like any of you because none of you ever mentioned Roger, even though you should, because Roger is objectively weird. But Roger is, he's got his Santa hat on because it's about to be fall, and he's got it cocked in a cool way. He's a sweet cement bust that Mike found in an alleyway in West Hollywood. And so we put a sweet handlebar mustache on him, but he's a cement bust, so he's really heavy. Like, he weighs like 50 or 60 pounds. He's so heavy, but it's just a bust that Mike found in an alleyway. So we took him home, and then when we started doing content creation, we put him on the shelf so he could be famous, and yet no one ever cares or recognizes him or mentions him, which really hurts his feelings. All right, moving on the shelf, we got this little section right here. These cards right here are from Baseball Highlights 2045. In the expansion, they gave you two of these cards that had like the holographic gold part to them, but they also have these cards in the game anyway, so we just kept these ones out so we could put them on our shelf here. This is yet another cribbage board. This cribbage board was actually made by G Money, the person who made Happy Streamin' over there. This is a sweet cribbage board that he made that has the brothers Murph on inside of it. And the people who made our logo and our music and our animation are G Money, Young Doug, and Rye Fresh. And they gave us some sweet gold money cards to use in this game. So we have this one-of-a-kind, awesome cribbage set that was handmade by one of our followers, G Money, who has been so wonderful. He also gave us this in there that says, "A little help so that someday we could be cool grandparents," because G Money's grandparents also taught him cribbage, just like our grandparents taught us cribbage. And it's something we kind of bonded over. And so at our Gen Con event, he gave us that, which was immensely kind and really touched us. We have Deathbot Dirtbag. Here's a little game that a gentleman named Zach Connolly sent us. It's a game that he designed. We have the Age of Giants expansion for King Domino, because this doesn't fit in the box, and it's kind of a cool shelf piece, and it does have all the stuff inside of it. So whenever we play King Domino with the Age of Giants expansion, we just grab it off the shelf. We have Derek Longin. This is a book called I'm a Stranger Here Myself. This book is set in Huddersfield, which again is where Dan Hughes is from, and he constantly sends us British stuff despite us not asking him to or wanting him to. So this is a book that is set in Huddersfield, one of the only books set in Huddersfield, because why would you set anything in Huddersfield? And so he sent us this book and expected us to read it, which we didn't, because, you know, America. This is a lovely Christmas card someone sent us last year. A wonderful follower named Brad, who lives in New Zealand, sent us that all the way from New Zealand and was wishing us a Merry Christmas, which was so wonderful. And we have T-Rex Stan here. I just made up his name right now. His name's Stan. He's a little T-Rex. We got 4 little meeples that we got from Meeple Source at Dice Tower Con. Big old bucket. You can just pick out meeples. We picked out these 4, and we might play with them in games. You just grab them, play with them. Why not? All right, and here we have the last part of the top of our shelves. We got this big old guy right here. He's this big old mini. I think he's from Ertu Balor. I think he's from maybe the Drizzt game. I'm not entirely sure where this dude came from. But we got that guy. We got a Huddersfield timeline promo, because again, Dan Hughes sends us British stuff a lot, even though we ask him not to. I have a King Domino tournament winner. Let's zoom in on that bad boy. Zoom in on that bad, but it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. This is a tournament winner for King Domino. It's a cool little like tower trophy. I won this at it was for the Unrivaled tournament that sadly doesn't look like it's anymore, but they were gearing up for this year's event, and they had King Domino as part of it. And I went to an event for them and was helping them out with some press, and I played a game, and then I got that trophy. It was pretty cool. Palm Island is a little game we got at Gen Con. It's a little a game that requires no board. It's also waterproof, which is why it's in this weird like waterproof thing. But it's pretty cool, and it's a great little fun game that is a good time, and it requires no board. You can literally play it in the palm of your hand, which is the entire point. This is another epoxy piece right here. I just drew this eye and then encased it in epoxy. I think that's pretty cool, because why not? We have the Scythe box back here, the Invaders from Afar box. Again, this is empty, but the Stonemaier boxes are so nice that we just keep them around. We got this guy. I can't remember this guy's name. I'm pretty sure he's from Rudolph. This guy from Rudolph, probably. We got a Magic the Gathering deck box. Mike and I don't really need or use deck boxes, and we do not play Magic. But again, we got this somewhere, and we were like, it's a cool little box. We'll put it up there. Why not? Here we have a picture of Dave Lusa and his family, because we are big fans of the Lusas in general. So we got Ilka, Bo, and Dave right there, and they're playing The Mind, which is very nice. They sent us this from Germany. Speaking of Dave Lusa, we have Mike's little guy from Dave's Pandemic Legacy streaming. This is Mike's character right here. We'll let him fall a little bit so I can grab Jack Burton, because who cares about Mike when Jack Burton's around? We got Jack Burton. We got this little Jack Burton action figure. It's so awesome. So we have that. We also have the box for Tuscany, the Viticulture expansion. Again, this is empty, but we really like this box because it's very pretty, and Stonemaier boxes are amazing. So we'll put Mike back there and put Dave, Ilka, and Bo back in their rightful place on there. Here we have a 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea board game. It's this big old board game that Mike got at the D23 Expo. The D23 is the Disney convention that's very kind of exclusive. It's only every other year, but he went with his ex-girlfriend and they had a great time. And Mike bought this game for like $100, but it is a very, very cool, kind of pretty rare game. And then this right here is a big old mug that says, "I like big mugs," and I cannot lie, because if you've seen any of Mike and I stream, we drink a lot of coffee. And we always complain about not having a big enough mug because we just want more coffee. And so as a Christmas gift, kind of gag gift 2 years ago, someone gave me this, which is ridiculous. And I've never actually drank anything out of it because it is so large. Honestly, I just don't trust the handle to be strong enough to hold liquid. But nonetheless, I really like it. I think it's funny. All right, so we got this little shelf right here. This is another cribbage board that our grandfather made. This one flips over because you go up and down, up and down. So you go up and then flip and go down and then flip and then go up and then flip and then down and then flip. We don't play this one very often, which is why it's a little bit dusty, because it's just a little bit harder to use. But it was made by our grandfather, and it's super, super cool, and we love it very, very much, just like all his cribbage boards. We have Captain Swaggins right here. Captain Swaggins is a little figure. I don't know where the hell he came from, but Mike and I always take him whenever we're traveling as kind of, I don't know, as, at this point, like a good luck charm. But when Mike was traveling through Europe, I snuck this into his package so he had something from home to remind him of me. And then he did the same thing when I went to Europe. And now it's become kind of a thing where we always take him whenever we're traveling places. And so Captain Swaggins will always have a spot on our shelf. The Shoot the Moon Brothers Murph book right here. This, again, also is from our Brothers Murph meetup at Gen Con. This was made by Cheryl, Almost Heaven, and she made this wonderful book, and it's a line book, and people wrote very, very nice things inside of it. And then this right here is a Goonies collector's set card game. It's got a Goonies set of cards and this cool little Goonies coin here. This is from the Goonies game Kickstarter. Mike is a massive, massive, massive Goonies fans. I like the Goonies. I don't. Me and him feel very differently about this movie. It's one of his favorite movies, and I'm kind of like, I could care less about it. But he loves that movie. So for his birthday one year, I backed the Goonies Kickstarter because I wanted to see if knew he would like the game, and we got the game. The game's okay, but we did get this cool little collector set. This is another epoxy thing that I made. I made this one. I have some blue epoxy down here. Let me see if I can focus up on it. I have a blue epoxy in the bottom half here, and then I inserted some shells into the top half. So they're kind of like buried in water, I suppose. That's a cool little epoxy thing. And we have a Noble Order of Huddersfield Board Gamers pin, because Dan Hughes keeps sending us British stuff. Here, these are little kind of poker chips from the Dice Tower. They have the dice guys and stuff on them, which is pretty cool. We have a couple of those. And then Mike Parkinson from the Dice Tower, he does the board game makeovers. He made us these sweet Dice Tower Con 2018 poker chips with Mike and I's dice guys on them, which is so, so cool. So now we have a bunch of these poker chips that we all have Mike and I on them, which is super, super cool. And he made those kind of out of nowhere. We had no idea about him. And it was just such a nice, cool thing that he did. So thank you, Mike, for that. So that's this shelf right here. And let's swing on up to this shelf here. So we have these two little minis. Again, I don't really remember where they're from. They just kind of showed up one day, so we had them. We have a little Harley Quinn bottle opener here. Again, we don't really drink bottles, and we don't drink beer, so we don't really have a need for a bottle opener, but it's a cool little Harley Quinn one. Why not? And then we have 3 mugs. We have Darth Vader, Boba Fett, and then R2-D2. And this is kind of where we just keep random stuff. So we have like pencils and pens in this one and stuff. This one is literally full of dice. The whole thing is full of dice. So if we ever need a ton of die in a game, we'll just come and grab them out of Boba Fett here. And this has scissors in it with Hugo's Amazing Tape, which is amazing. It's kind of like an office supplies area. And for some reason, we like it. We like having it there, and it's actually really useful because when we're streaming right behind the camera here, or when we're playing a game, if we need to like mark down scores or write anything down, we literally can just reach over here and grab a pen, which is pretty nice. And then this is this Planet Hollywood like piggy bank thing that like Mike had for some reason from somewhere. I don't remember where it was from, but we got this guy. So that guy's cool. He's always there, which is great. And that's that shelf. There's not much on this one. This one's got a couple big things, but that's pretty much it. So now we'll swing on down to this shelf. First of all, back here, a little bit out of the shot is Star-Lord. We have this Star-Lord action figure, which I think was given to us by one of our friends. I'm not entirely sure. We have a couple more different epoxy things. I made these coasters with these little words. So it says Brothers Murph inside there. And then this is something we want to do more often. Make epoxy coasters with bits in them and shit. So these are the extra trains from Ticket to Ride, and we made coasters out of them. And so we have a whole bigger and growing bag of chits that we have from games that we don't use because we've upgraded the game, or for whatever reason we just don't need them anymore. And we're going to be planning on making a bunch of coasters like this, which we might sell, we might give away, we're not entirely sure. These are different pins that we got from Blue Orange Games. These pins were really big at Gen Con. Pins were all the new things. Like Restoration Games had them, Blue Orange had them, but Blue Orange sent us some of theirs in the mail beforehand. So we have some pins. We have some other ones that are on some shirts, I believe, but these are some extra ones they gave us. This right here is a little gun thingy, like that, because why not? And then back here is some more epoxy stuff. This is actually going to be, these are going to be presents for some of our cousins and stuff. So this one says like Crystal inside, for one of our cousins, Crystal. And so there's a bunch of them back there. I just kind of put them back there because why not? We have a Go-Low Cup, which is a terrible game, which we reviewed a couple weeks ago. But we like to keep the things from our terrible games. As you can see, it's been all over. This is baseball, because baseball. And then down here we have The People's Guide to J.R.R. Tolkien, which is a book someone gave me in a Secret Santa because everyone knows that I'm obsessed with Lord of the Rings. So they gave me that. And they also gave me, wait for it, boom, that Dementor. This is in a different shelf, but our grandfather also made this cribbage board right here. It's down there, but this is with a bunch of games, but this is another cribbage board that we have that our grandfather made. So as I said, someone gave me that People's Guide to J.R.R. Tolkien book in a Secret Santa. They also gave me this Dementor pop figure, which is super, super cute, and I really, really like it a lot. So they gave me this guy because they're like, Nick likes Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter, get him that. And I was like, yep, you're right. We also got Thor. Thor's actually a piggy bank, which is actually full of money. So we just throw change into Thor here because he's a little piggy bank. We have our cold turkey, which I don't think we have any batteries in, so it won't work right now. Let's check it. No, it doesn't work. But Cold Turkey was another thrift store throwback review that we did that was horrible and terrible, but we kept a little thing from it. That's the Cold Turkey. And then we got Tupac, because Tupac rules, and Tupac is actually one of my favorite musicians. I've always been a big Tupac fan. And one thing I love about this Tupac figurine, we got rapping something dope, very confused about what his hand is doing. Rapping something dope, very confused about what his hand is doing. I love it. It makes me laugh so hard. But we got Tupac there because Mike and I are big Tupac fans. And yeah. All right. Well, that is it. That is what is on our shelf up here. That is all the different figurines and all the different stuff. It's a whole bunch of it. We haven't even put up all of it. We didn't put up all of it because we just didn't have room. But as you can see, it's a whole bunch of mishmash of stuff. We don't know where we got it. A lot of it is stuff that's been given to us. If you ever send us something weird, it's a good chance it'll get up on this shelf. I'm not saying start sending us stuff. I'm just saying, like, usually we put it up because we always find stuff like that very touching and stuff. But a mix of like artwork, like my stuff, other people's stuff. It's just a whole mishmash of all different stuff. But it's interesting because it's always something to look at. But recognize Roger Moore. He really doesn't like that no one recognizes him or acknowledges how creepy and weird he is. Because look at him. That's so weird. But nonetheless, that's going to be it for me. My name is Nick Murphy. Please make sure to like and subscribe to us and share this video. Until next time, we'll see you later. Bye. These end bumpers are always exactly the same. We're always sponsored by Restoration Games, and we always have funny little videos over here that you can check out that relate to this video. But you know why it's really always the same? Because we live in LA, and it never changes here. It's 85 and sunny every day, including right now. You know it. Check the weather. Middle of the night, don't care. 85!